the Dynasty, they just dropped episodes 7 and 8. Now, 7 and 8 started with Deflategate. And Deflategate was an interesting one because I'll never forget going through all of it. It all started, obviously, in the 2014-2015 AFC Conference Championship. Colts up in New England playing the Pats, and Tom Brady throws an interception in a rainy, cold game, and they use that ball, getting a tip from the Ravens, getting a tip from the NFL, saying that the Patriots are using underinflated footballs. Well, didn't that blow up in their face? It blew up in everybody's face, basically, because it was ridiculous. It was ridiculous. And when the episode started off, this was the funny part. The episode, so we went from 2001, the whole Brady and Bledsoe thing to, doing the snow. All the way to 2000. And now we're on 2014. Okay, we're on 2014. But they started off the freaking episode with Rupert Murdoch. What did it say? The CEO of Fox Corporation or something like that. Talking about the time Putin stole Robert Kraft's ring, in which I was sitting there going, why are we reliving this? Like, and I know Robert Kraft tried to finagle a way to make it all wrap up into one. But, what are we doing? Why is this dynasty so concerned about, Vladimir Putin stealing Robert Kraft's ring? And then, of course, you should ask for it. Well, the president of the United States called me up and basically said it would go over well for Soviet-U.S. relations. You know what that's a sign of? A loser. I'm sorry. Go tell Putin to give your damn ring back. I don't care. It was so dumb. And then Rupert Murdoch, what does he have to do with the friggin' dynasty? Zero. Zilch. Nada. All right? So please, get him and all the scrubs basically off my screen. Secondly, Deflategate. You missed a lot. You really, really, really missed a lot. You didn't bring up the well-supporting context, which, you bring it up for the sheer fact of saying that you did it. I know now they're trying to, I think, play politics, and, the Crafts are like, well, we don't want to bring up the fact that I hated Roger Goodell, when this was all going on, and that, I understand. And this is what Robert Kraft actually said, saying to the effect of, Roger Goodell punished us so hard for this because of what happened with Spygate. And then they brought up the whole fact that all the owners were chirping in Roger Goodell's ears about Spygate, saying that they should have released the tapes and why did you destroy it, this, that, and the other. It was stupid. They also didn't bring up Mike Kensel, the former Jet front office, who worked in the NFL office, was at that game against Indianapolis, and apparently was walking up and down the sidelines telling Patriots that they were in trouble. They were in trouble. And, of course, Mort's tweet saying that 11 of the 12 footballs were underinflated, never brought up, I'm pretty sure they didn't bring it up, but never brought up the fact that it was a total farce, or actually, they did bring up that the whole thing was a total farce, but they glossed over a lot of it. They did show that sports science clip, which, side note, Sports Science was a phenomenal show. For those of you who remember what Sports Science was, it was great. They talked about, one of my favorite episodes was, how hard, or what is the easiest punch to take? A boxing glove, a UFC glove, or a bare fist? And it's exactly as you think. Bare fist sucks. UFC glove is number 2. Boxing glove is the easiest to take. Great show. Absolutely great show. But the funny part about that is they talked about how it's easier to grip and to catch, but they never brought up the fact about how much harder it is to throw, especially in inclement weather like the AFC Championship game in January 2015. They never brought that up. Again, the direction of this show was just terrible. And I'm not even getting on him for Bill. I'm just saying the whole direction of this was just god awful. And I understand that, it's coming from the book, The Dynasty. The book was basically Robert Kraft's view of everything that went on. But Matthew Hamachek, one of the biggest things about that, which bugged the crap out of me, was how, he went on 98.5. He talked about, he went on Toucher and Hardy's show in the mornings. And when they brought up the question of, a lot of people are coming at it saying that, this is all slanted towards Bill. It's unfair towards him, blah, blah, blah. Like, what are your thoughts on that? And of course, he calls it a big conspiracy because that's all you have to do nowadays is call something a conspiracy. And oh my God, it's a conspiracy. All you guys are crazy. When, hey, Matt, open your friggin' eyes. Like, you're telling me that this isn't slanted towards Bill? And because all he says was his philosophy is he will accept all the blame while all the love he pushes on to the other people who worked on it. And goes on to say that the Crafts had absolutely no involvement. Seriously? You're talking with Robert and Jonathan on camera. What are you doing off camera? Huh? What are you doing off camera? Now, I'm not saying that they were over your shoulder, hovering around, trying to, micromanage. That's the word I'm looking for. It's not like Robert and Jonathan are looking over your shoulder, micromanaging what you're doing. But it is Kraft Dynasty LLC 2024. That is the copyright who owns it. At the very end, the last slide you see. Now, I'm not saying anything because I think it looks questionable, but I think it's just legal reasons. That the very last thing that you see on each episode, Kraft Dynasty LLC 2024, quote, the copyright holder is the author of this cinematographic and audiovisual work. I probably said that wrong, that's audiovisual work, end quote. Like I said, it's probably didn't say I'm not even going to say it. But it is questionable, right? It is a little suspect. And like I said, you're trying to tell me that Robert and Jonathan, who are in studio with you, giving you their thoughts and their insights and every single thing, that they haven't had conversations with you that isn't going to depict how you view or how you want to edit this movie or how you want to go at this documentary? Like, give me a break, man. And Michael Hawley, while on that show, he asked him the question about, not even asked, he basically stated how the Aaron Hernandez episode was very nuanced, that it's not as simple as basically Bill not granting Aaron the trade out of New England, that it led to the death of Odin Lloyd. And Hamachek disagreed with the fact that it's really not that nuanced, which blew my mind, because Hamachek was like, well, Aaron Hernandez is part of what's called, what I believe is Football Inc. And, Football Inc. excuses certain behavior. Excuses certain behavior were his exact words on the show. And with that, it lit me up, because really, Really, Aaron Hernandez was the only one in the entire 20 years of the Patriots dynasty that got away with being a questionable character. And I'm not saying you have to be a sociopath like Hernandez was in order to be questionable, but I want to say that, Rob Gronkowski was not a Patriot way kind of guy. He was very out there, very he will do and say whatever. He will party, he will drink, he will do all of that. And you don't think that Bill, he was a part of footballing, that Bill excused his certain behavior because of how unbelievable talent Rob Gronkowski was? Randy Moss, another example, who's been on this show a number of times. You don't think his behavior got excused up until he got traded? I'm sorry. Matthew Hamachek is kind of a dope. He really is. And I wanted to say this last week, but it totally slipped my mind, that NFL Films is acknowledged in the credits. But an NFL film source said the organization was, quote, displeased with the portrayal of Bill Belichick in the series and chose to distance itself from director Matthew Hamachek's project. And the source of that was NBC. And yeah, I'm not surprised. I wanted to bring that up last week because that's when it came out. But let's face it, that's what it's not hard to figure out from anybody's perspective that this is slanted towards Bill. So then when you talk about Deflategate, right, totally didn't bring up the ideal gas law. They just glossed over how people want to, disprove what happened. And the kicker, in my opinion, was how they framed it in a way that Bill was the one that basically threw Brady under the bus. Really? Bill Belichick was the one that threw Tom Brady under the bus for Deflategate. Now, that's probably true, but it's not as harsh as you might think it is. Because you're telling me that Robert Kraft had no institutional knowledge that Bill Belichick was going to say, Tom, this is on you, kid. I ain't taking the rap for any of it, which leading to Bill Belichick's infamous line, which I will never forget, because I was sitting in my car listening to the 98.5 app, listening to the whole thing outside the Shelburne Meat Market, about to go buy some steaks up in Shelburne, Vermont. I listened to the whole press conference, and Bill Belichick saying that he's no Mona Lisa Vito of the football world had me in stitches. I was like, wait, did he just drop a My Cousin Vinny reference? And yes, he did. Which you could tell he probably got such a friggin' kick out of it. But the fact that they wanted to not even give Robert Kraft a mention that, hey, Tom, you're going to have to take the bill for this one, kid, because if Bill gets blamed for this, he's out of the league completely. And you're clean. You're perfect. There's nothing about you. So don't worry. You'll probably get the $20,000 fine, which I'm telling you, I was trying to look up what the penalty was, because I'm pretty sure it's a $20,000 fine for playing with underinflated footballs. It was a nothing penalty, an absolutely nothing penalty. And yet you had 4-game suspension. You had draft picks forfeited because, as I mentioned earlier, Robert Kraft was mentioning how Roger Goodell got back at New England to appease the other 31 NFL owners. And the last thing I want to mention, too, is episode 8, which was the big Jimmy Garoppolo versus Tom Brady controversy. I'm sorry, but if you're Tom Brady, how do you not think of, Bill Walsh bringing in Steve Young behind Joe Montana, and then Joe Montana going out and winning a couple more Super Bowls after that? this is what Jimmy Garoppolo was. And it was kind of, I don't know, a little soft for my liking, even though true. One of the major problems that I'm beginning to develop with this whole thing is the lack of players interviewed and the amount of family members, the amount of journalists, the amount of, friends. Like I said, Bon Jovi having that one clip about, yeah, that's my team. Back in 2001, the New Jersey native thinks that the Patriots were his team playing against the Rams. Like that was a little ridiculous. And same thing going for Rupert Murdoch there. But all the reporters on there, especially Nora Princiotti, having literally almost doing the entire dialogue for episode 8, practically. And then, of course, her having to bring up the fact that, oh, Jimmy Garoppolo is so cute, man. Like, come on. Can I just watch the friggin' Dynasty without having to, look at the guys or having to acknowledge how attractive or handsome, these gentlemen are? Like, they're playing football. I don't care. That's not my realm, okay? It's ridiculous that I had to sit there and listen to all this stuff. This is why I can't stand the friggin' Dynasty. I can't, because it's not the players. There should have been guys for like Vrabel, Rodney Harrison getting more screen time. Them going into Lawyer Malloy, giving him more screen time, especially when he got cut in 2003, right? Like, that's what the Dynasty was. And I will sit here and continue to be that way for one more week because I know they have 2 more episodes coming out, and I'm finding new ways to, piss on this, right? So, yeah, it's just overall, it's ridiculous to me that we're trying to sit here and watch something called The Dynasty, hoping that it would be a depiction of the Patriots dynasty from 2001 when Tom Brady got started, Drew Bledsoe getting hurt, going all the way up to 2019. And if you want to extend, a year or two to Brady winning in Tampa, that type of deal, then fine, be my guest. But this documentary with the title the way it was, and I'm not even trying to, talk about the book anymore. Screw the book. This dynasty should have been exactly that timeline. It should have been all players and coaches from that timeline. And that's it. Talking about every single thing that happened. Going from Bledsoe getting hurt, Brady coming in, them playing in the snowball, them winning Super Bowl 36, having an off year in 2002, winning 21 games from 03 to 04, cutting Lawyer, him going to Buffalo, losing 31-0, then winning 31-0 to start and end the season. Then going from Brady being 10-0 in the playoffs to, losing in Denver. Not to mention Ben Watson's hit on Champ Bailey's 99-yard supposed interception for a touchdown. Going all the way through Spygate, 18-1, going to 2010, going 14-2, losing to the Jets in the divisional round. Going to 2011, losing again, 2014, like I said, that's what it should have been. That's what it should have been, ending on the high note that was Super Bowl 53 against the Rams. But no, it had to be a hit piece about Bill. It had to make Robert Kraft come out as I'm just this poor, innocent old man who wanted to keep this dynasty together. Oh, woe is me. Like, spare me the fact that he knew nothing about the Jimmy Garoppolo draft. Spare me the fact that, he is throwing all this shade at Bill about Hernandez and everything that went down, saying that his job was on the line. with Brady and Bledsoe way back in 01. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. And again, I'm going to watch these last 2 episodes, and they're probably going to be a lot more accurate because Belichick is the bad guy. I'm not going to deny that. Belichick is the cold, calculated man, and I understand exactly what he did because no quarterback has ever played as well at Brady's age, going into his 40s, playing till his mid-40s. Brady should have won the MVP in his last season at the age of 44, 45. Like, that's how good he was. And so, yeah, I understand why Bill was ready to ship Brady out of here. That's what Garoppolo was all about. And the fact that he didn't have a succession plan after Garoppolo makes Belichick look even worse. I get it. But please, can this be something fun for people? As a diehard Patriot fan who was literally raised on this dynasty, starting at 9 years old, going until I was, 27, 28? It has become just an asinine thing for me to watch. Something that I will never watch ever again because, yes, it makes me this heated, but because I know that's not what actually happened. Trying to rewrite the dynasty's history is absolutely asinine to me. So, on that note, I want to thank you guys once again for tuning in, episode 8. Marcus, I appreciate you coming in with the comments. This is the Boston Sports Summit. My name is Tim Barnett. I am your host. And again, I am just a guy who grew up loving Boston sports and is pumped that he finally gets to talk about it and have his show. So please don't forget to like, share, subscribe. It helps with the algorithms on YouTube. You can check me out on Instagram right over here at Boston Sports Summit. You can check me out on Twitter, Boss, B-O-S, Sports Summit. Then you can also find me on YouTube, Boston Sports Summit. And every Wednesday, we are live here on the Grid Network's YouTube channel. And on Tuesdays, check out the 8 o'clock spot. I am going to try to be on next Tuesday. That's right. I want to be on next week's 8 o'clock spot. Tuesdays, 8 p.m. on the Grid Network's YouTube channel. And you can find the Boston Sports Summit live every Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern, here on the Grid Network's YouTube channel. So thank you guys for tuning in. Enjoy the rest of your week and enjoy the last 2 episodes of the Dynasty because I will. Like I said, I'm just a local guy who is pumped to talk about his favorite teams. So thank you for listening to the Boston Sports Summit and sticking around. I'll be back next Wednesday, 7 p.m. on the Grid Network's YouTube channel. See you guys then.